time, and I am, and it's going way fast. Okay, good morning, and thank you. First off, I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting us to come up and tell you a little bit about Circularis. I'm Paul Feldstein, I'm the CEO and co-founder. So at Circularis, we give our customers control of any gene in any species. So our mission is to revolutionize gene expression to give our customers control, as I mentioned. And our vision is to massively decrease the production of biologics and to also do things like improve crop traits in agriculture. And that's why I think we are a good fit with talking about ag tech. We believe we are uniquely positioned to pioneer this area. We have improved promoters in a way that is much more powerful than the ways they've been done in the past. And I'll talk a little bit about what promoters are in a moment. So I have to apologize. The talk you're seeing is actually from my pitch at Bio. And so some of what you're going to see relates a little bit more to the production of biologics. But I think everyone can appreciate this as well. There's this thing called the biologics patent cliff. $85 billion worth of biologics, those are molecules made by companies like Genentech or AbbVie, are going to be off patent by 2020. And that's going to put a lot of negative pressure on their margins. They have very comfortable margins right now. We believe we are the only company with the technology to improve protein production and give them some relief from that downward pressure on margins. So how our technology works in a very general sense, we start with a promoter. Promoters are special sequences in DNA that tell cells when, where, and how much protein to make. And that's very important in the production of biologics or in crop traits. Okay, so what we do is we start with a known promoter, in this case start with a known promoter. We make millions of variants by making mutations. We put those variants all simultaneously into a cell, let the cell make a very unusual readout molecule that we can recover, and then we use the power of next generation sequencing to determine which promoters are strongest and which ones are weakest. And that can be used to turn up or turn down protein production. Keeps wanting to go too. So in terms of competitive barriers, the traditional methods that people are using simply take way too long to do this, and they can't explore the sequence space as completely as we can. We also have two international patents on our core methods, and there's one other important aspect about something you're about to see, which is in some of our example data, and that is that the US Supreme Court's myriad decision that says you can't patent natural sequences don't apply to our improved promoters. So we can have an IP position, that's valuable. Two again. So this is an example of the kind of data that we generate. We started with 500,000, 500,000 different variant promoters. We ran them through, in this case, E. coli, very common bacteria. And this shows you the data for 20,000 unique promoters. And you can see some of them, we have some of the points shown in green and some of them shown in red. What's significant is the green ones, which are the stronger promoters, are only about 0.6% of all the sequences. This means that they're very rare and very hard to find. But we can find this was actually less than a month's work. Once the library was built, we spent more time waiting for the sequences to come back from the sequencer than actually doing lab work. Financial highlights. We have very comfortable financials. We went to market Q3 2016. We've had about $400,000 in book business so far, with another $1 million in potential licensing fees and another $1 million on top of that in potential royalties. We have comfortable margins, and we expect to be EBITDA positive Q3 of 2019. We have an experienced management team, actually, and scientific team. Our three scientific co-founders all came out of UC Davis, where we have experience in plants, animals, bacteria, and fungi. And we have a business person with over 25 years in a wide range of business work in biotech. it's not going on at all. Am I not pointing it at the right thing? Okay. And it really is frozen, isn't it? Okay, so can we pause the clock?
Sure. Your computer be nodding at us.
I can draw your slides and describe.
Really? I might actually be able to just tell you the last
Yeah,
thing.
go ahead.
I'm trying to think, what's the
It's
next
good
slide?
training for an
Yeah,
investment
that's
pitch.
true.
Something always goes wrong.
Okay, I think the next, I want to make sure I have the, okay. I know that one of the next slides is, we have a platform technology, as I said, it's widely applicable. We're trying to leverage our, yes, I know this. Leverage our, the work with our customers and the development of our technology, ultimately leading to sort of 3 lines of business. Cell-based therapies, biologics production, and industrial agriculture. And we actually have customers in all 3 of those, all 3 of those spaces already. We're looking to raise $500,000 in seed funding to support our existing customers, with the rollout of a very important promoter series along the lines of what I showed you in that slide for what's called the CMV promoter, the cytomegalovirus promoter, which is the workhorse promoter used in biologics production, and to work on therapeutic promoters for diagnostics and therapeutics in cancer cells. So, and that's it. Thank you for your time. And I'm happy to entertain questions of one sort or another.
So, sorry about the slide thing. That's actually the first time that's ever happened to us
okay.
here.
Well,
so,
first time for everything.
Yeah, but it is really good practice.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you might have to pitch without your slides.
Yeah.
So. But we always like to ask our presenters, the first question is, how can this community help you to be successful?
Okay, that's a great question. Okay, and I know exactly what the answer. We've talked to a lot of VCs. And often they're really interested. I can't tell you the number of times I've heard this one. I like, we love the team, we love the tech, we see synergy with our portfolio companies, but we're passing. And I know that what puts off a lot of people, and we've also talked to angels, and we got really close to getting angel funding, and what made them uncomfortable was the fact that we have a service to license business, and anytime you say service, people freak. I was like, I'm not gonna give you money. So, would there be a better approach other than, we're doing the service to get money to develop our own products ultimately.
Okay,
so we have to start somewhere.
All right, so maybe a different revenue model. And
Yeah.
There's thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, we'll open it to general questions.
I'm sorry, what would the alternative be then? You just have to keep funding R&D yourself?
Well, one of the things that I've thought about is, people have said to us, well, we'd be super happy if you would make something, make a thing. Don't, and we're thinking about human growth hormone, for example, because it's relatively straightforward to make, and then, we're gonna go to JP Morgan in January, and we could start talking to people about licensing it. Our customers want a license from us, the promoters that they'll use in their production. And that's a thing, but people have a hard time wrapping their head around it, I guess. If someone's gonna pay us $200,000 a year to license a promoter from us to make something, that's revenue. What's the problem? So, I don't know.
So what's the service?
The service part is someone will come to us, for example, and say, this is a promoter we're using, a sequence of DNA that is driving whatever. We want to have a range of activities so we can sort of make it stronger if it needs to be stronger, or make it weaker if it has an adverse effect on their cells. A weaker promoter might be better.
Depending on how they want to use it.
And the thing is, we take their promoter, we do that process that I showed, then we provide them with a range, and then they initially get, for a relatively small service fee, a certain number of those with freedom to operate and research use only, then they have to, if they say, well, this is great, we're getting twice as much protein, they have to license that promoter from us to use in production.
So my thought is it's not a terminology problem, it's just a lack of experience or understanding of, if you're talking about VCs, I mean, that's often the problem, they just don't understand how the business scales and the business model. What you just explained to me doesn't sound intimidating or difficult to grasp, but.
Yeah, I would humbly say that I'm not sure that that message came through. That was very wordy and technical. And if you're talking to people that you're selling a financial product at the end of the day, not any of this.
Yes.
So I probably want to tweak that presentation around selling the financial product and the business side a little bit more. Maybe get your CDO leveraged in building this out a little bit clearer.
I mean, we do have, when we do the sort of a normal talk with, for example, when we were doing it with VCs more, it was more, he and I would sort of tag team it. I would do the science part of it, or the technology part of it, and he would do the business side. And it was definitely, this was, as I said, at Bio, so those people all know
They all know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they all know what I'm talking about.
Gotcha, yeah.
But I mean, and I have to apologize about that, but.
Oh, I get it,
but,
yeah, in the same way. We're in cybersecurity and my counterpart is super cerebral and I'm like the genius whisperer, so I can translate that.
Exactly. That is that was actually a huge problem for us. We were at IndieBio, I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It's an accelerator in San Francisco for biotech companies. And we had a really hard time because what we do is it's definitely B2B, it's a pure B2B play, and people have a really hard time understanding. I mean, I had to have slides explaining what a promoter was, and people, their eyes get glazed over, and, it's like that, and then it doesn't matter. You could say, we're going to make $1 billion in our first year, and they wouldn't even care, because I lost them way early. So, not that we're going to make $1 billion in the first year.
We had a question in here.
There was a slide about margins there, and so just to kind of see what he was saying, that was the only part that said anything about business, and so if there was maybe, I mean, you're not the first biotech company that is going to make a lot of money, right? So maybe using someone else as an example to say, here's how someone similar to what we're doing got to revenue, and here's what their business model looks like, and so we're going to emulate that, and then it helps someone say, oh yeah, I can see their stock price, and I can imagine you having that same stock price. That might be a good way to translate that.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be good. I mean, the problem is it's a new technology. There's only one other company that does what we do, and they don't do it the way we do it. So it's really hard to find someone to model on.
Yeah. Are there people that have licensed sort of, maybe not promoters, but a similar cell type or something?
Yes, Syngenta, which is one of the really big ag players, does have a promoter licensing, and we have used that. In fact, we've sort of structured our licenses on their approach. It's a little different, but it's a little bit kind of a hybrid of that and the way people do cell lines for biologics. So, I mean, actually, if I could make one more comment, and this relates a little bit to the thing. In terms of agriculture, and I know I think it was you who made the comment, the one thing that almost everybody has heard of is CRISPR. Our technology and CRISPR go hand in hand in our view, because what we can do is manipulate the promoters. It turns out that like 90% of all the changes in genes that are significant to crop traits are outside of the gene itself. It's the control of the gene that matters. Well, with our technology, we can manipulate the promoter, and then with CRISPR, you can substitute back in exactly where it was. So, and that people are talking about that may not be controlled the same way. It's not GMO. It's because you're starting with the original genetic material of the plant, putting it back in the plant. You're not taking something from frogs and putting it in plants.
So maybe that'd be a better message saying we're going to maximize your crops, but we're going to do it in a non-GMO way, kind of an organic way of manipulating crops. Might be a cleaner, crisper message than all this technical stuff.
Well, and that's something that identify. They've heard of CRISPR. And I don't certainly understand it, but I've heard of it, and so you can grasp, I know that that's going to be big, and so if you work hand in hand with that, that might get some traction.
Other question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest, I thought what you said was really good in suggesting maybe, that it's going to be more organic, but maybe even take it down one more level for like, what is at the end of the day, what does it mean for the people who are using, your licenses, right? Does that mean more production for less seed or less water? And just take it down to that very basic level so they can see, hey, when they make more product, that means they have more money because they're using your license, basically.
So a value proposition.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some of our other bigger slide decks, we have like a whole breakdown of how we save people money.
Sure, yeah.
In a business sense. But I think this is a tech dev heavy deck, the pitch. I mean, it's
Other questions? Over here?
Are you utilizing UC Davis or any type of grants to fund research?
no. I mean, we started at UC Davis, and we were the first company at the HM Claus UC Davis Life Science Innovation Center, if you remember that. And we still have space there because we still one of our co-founders still works at UC Davis, we have a part-time technician who works at the Innovation Center. So, but yeah, we still have contacts with UC Davis, but we're not specifically doing anything.
Putting that conflict with UC Davis, if they're incubating you out of there, that you have any IP issues with them or anything?
Well, I'm the inventor, co-inventor of one of the technologies and inventor of the other one. And the university holds the thing, and we have a license. So, yeah. And then after that, we have anything after that is our own IP. So.
Are you connected with AgStart, or do you know what AgStart is?
I do not.
So AgStart is a nonprofit that helps ag tech companies be successful in the Sacramento region. So it's run by John Sellup, who
Oh, I know him.
You know John?
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely I'd be reaching out to John to see how ag tech might be able to help you. You guys work on your pitch or connect with people in the region that could be helpful to you. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much.